Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode of Booked. I'm your host, Saffron Asteria, and I'm joined today by S.F. Henne. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Excellent. We love not too bad. I've not yet had somebody that has said awful, but one day I might, and I'm scared of that day. Because then what do you do? You're not
Like,
supposed to
okay,
be
cool.
honest. Go, oh, okay. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time and your patience because this has been booked in for like 8 months or something ridiculous like that. So we made it here, and I'm so glad that we're finally doing this. So for those who don't know much about you or your work, could you tell us a little bit about what sorts of things you write?
Sure thing. Yes, so I am S.F. Henne. I put myself just as a fantasy author. Right now, I only have urban fantasy out, but there is definitely epic fantasy, epic romantasy that are in the background that like I want to publish, and it'll probably be like 10 years until they finally come out. But I mean, my thing is strong female characters, found family, hope, and then usually a little bit of romance in there. So it can vary the amount of sprinkling of romance that's in there. But yeah, they're my favorite things. I love stories that empower you, especially women, healthy relationships, all of these kind of fun things.
Awesome.
And then I write books about them.
Excellent. I mean, what better way to express your love for something than to spin a tale? That's excellent.
Yep.
So, how long have you been a writer?
A writer? I mean, so the first time that I was like, oh, I could write a book was way back in like 2005.
Oh wow!
So this one's always kind of funny. So I always have to bring up my sister. She loves that I'm always talking about her because she's such an influence on me. But back in 2005, I can remember me, my mum, and her were sitting around watching Battlestar Galactica. This was the new one, well, the new one at the time. And if you've seen it, there is a relationship between, I can't remember the main guy's name, but and Starbuck. And we're like, ooh, you were engaged to his brother. And both of us were just like, no, like we could write a better romance than that. And then my sister was like, hey, like, why don't we try and write like something like that? And that's kind of when it kicked off. I'm like, oh, I could just write my own stories. And I'd kind of dabbled in it, but nothing serious. And then I just started to have this idea. And over the years, I have this epic space fantasy or like a space opera, which I'll probably write when I'm like 80 or something. But that's kind of what kicked it off. It was just a slow thing that progressed. I mean, who writes like an epic space opera as their very first book? So it was like I was way in over my head. And then from there, it just progressed. And then I got like a new story that I'd think about. And I'd dabble in little bits. But it wasn't until 2023, especially 2023, where I actually finished a book and published. So it was a big gap in between. It took me a little while.
I hear that a lot though. Like it's a huge commitment to actually finish writing anything.
Yes.
Like super huge. Like I've been writing a book for the last 3 years. I've only just finished the first draft. And I was like, this is so fucking long. Like it's just ridiculous. Because like it's so deeply personal. Like it's all from your heart and your mind. And to then be able to put it into words and then let other people read it, that's risky. It's
terrifying.
Risky. It's terrifying. Did you find when you released your first book, how does that feel for you?
I was so stressed out that I didn't actually have any joy from it.
Oh, brilliant.
So it was very interesting how my first book came about. So I had been trying to write this epic fantasy. I think I got to 70,000 words and I was just like, this just isn't working. And then I randomly found this, it was called a publishing derby. And it was like, hey, you can join us. We'll give you a free cover title. You have to write a story based on that. And so it was all anonymous because it was just about like learning the ropes, trying your best. So I had my cover, which is my now debut, but it was originally called The Witch of the Lunar Order.
Mhm.
And so you had 2 months to write. I wrote it. I got some beta feedback, realized it was terrible, rewrote the whole thing, like 80, 90,000 words in a
Oh,
month.
cripes.
Didn't, you would lose the cover, and I was so determined. So
Wow.
I rewrote it. That was terribly stressful. I finally got it out, and hit publish, and I was just like, I'm just exhausted.
No
It
kidding.
wasn't like that joy. But I then, after the competition was done, because I retained the rights to it, I redid the cover so it was on brand. I got a developmental edit. And then when it came out for its official launch,
Mhm.
I was a lot happier because
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
this is the book that I
Mhm.
wanted. But at first I was just so stressed because it was a terrible time. And yes, relief and stress.
So, I mean, it sounds incredibly stressful to do anything. I get deadlines are the only way that I can get anything done, but I also
Oh,
find
yeah.
them immensely stressful. I don't know if you find the same. So, the period of time that you had between when you hit publish and then, redid everything, how
Mhm.
long was that? Like weeks, months, years?
Um, so the book came out October 2023, and then I think it was a month that we had with the competition until we could go back and like change things, announce that, hey, this is me.
Mhm.
I think I got my developmental edit in December, and then I relaunched in May.
Oh, wow.
And then my second book came out in December of that same year.
Oh, okay. So you're an overachiever.
For that one. For that one at least.
So were
And
you
now
just
it's
like,
like a year.
mhm.
So
That's still quite fast. Like,
yes.
yeah, sometimes some people drag their feet, and whatever. So, so in that period of time when you had hit publish and had your developmental edits, did you have time to like think about the story and mull it over? And was there much that you actually did change from the original?
Yes. I mean, it's also hard for me to remember which version was which because I
Mm,
had that full version I wrote and then I rewrote the whole thing. And
mhm.
so sometimes it's hard, I get mixed up which version was which.
Yeah.
The other thing which I probably should mention so nobody gets any ideas, I burnt myself out from that competition
Mhm.
and I couldn't touch my book. I think it was until December. So I must have had my developmental edit in January because
Mhm.
I remember I was in my shower doing my usual thoughts. That's where I do all my thinking.
Me
And
too.
I finally had an idea of how to fix something. And I was like, oh, I think I might be getting out of my burnout. And so that was good. I don't think I changed a huge amount from the developmental edit.
Mhm.
I think it wasn't like big picture issues. It was some smaller ones to make things work. I think I cut a scene or two and kind of expanded some other sections, but it
Mhm.
wasn't a massive change. But maybe I don't know, maybe that's just me with most of my developmental edits. Um well, see, I say that I'm like, there's not a huge change, and I'm like, well, actually, with book 3, I cut the last 25% of the book and turned because I had 2 climaxes because I'm dumb.
Oh, why
Um,
not?
so I'm like realizing, so I cut that, and it obviously works a lot better, and the
Mm.
book's still like 100,000 words. So
Ooh.
I never feel like it's a huge change because I
Mhm.
mean, cutting is easy. Rearranging some chapters is easy, but if it's like oh, like your character's motivation is wrong, you've got the wrong POV, something like that
Mm.
would be like a major, okay, we've got to go back, got to fix things.
Do you use the same developmental editor for all of your work now, or do you chop and change? Is that a
No,
sore question? I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I don't. Sorry. I mean, it's I don't know. It might be half me. So the very first developmental editor I used, I found that she was helpful. I worked with her in a critique group,
Mhm.
but I didn't feel like I needed someone a bit more advanced because I didn't
Mhm.
feel like she was offering me enough for a developmental edit.
That's fair.
The next one I worked with, I was happy with. I actually did a lot of work with her and her husband doing world building. Um, but she was very expensive. She did have a lot of experience,
Mhm.
but my issue is that when I submit my books, it's usually around summer break
Mhm.
in the US.
Yeah.
And so the first year I think like her whole family got sick, and so she was heavily delayed.
Mhm.
And so I had to push things back a little bit because I think I was originally planning to launch in November. I pushed it back to December because
Okay.
cascade effect.
Mhm.
And then last year we had the same thing, but even more. So it delayed me. I think I was meant to get them back at like the start of August, and I didn't get them back till September.
Oh, wow.
And I was getting really frustrated with that.
Mhm.
And then I had to obviously delay my book again, which I didn't
Mm.
want to do. And then my proofreader actually also screwed me over
Mhm.
and never got back to me.
Oh, cripes.
So it's like I have some issues. So I'm using someone new, someone who was recommended to me by an author friend of mine.
Okay.
And so she's been very good because I've had to push it back this year.
Mhm.
So fingers crossed. We'll see. But I did like I didn't want to leave that other editor because she knew so much about it. She knew my whole series and everything.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this is too much money for me to be spending, and I can't deal with all these delays. It's stressing me out too much. So
Yeah. That's tough, isn't it? Because especially, I mean, I can't imagine being like so far through a series and having someone come in new and get what you're trying to do. But hopefully they're able to vibe with the story enough that they don't have to like question stuff. But then I'd wonder if they'd miss stuff like connections with previous books, because I assume they're like fairly linear as a series, or they're all connected. Looking at the cohesiveness of the covers, and also Sarah made a lovely comment I missed. The theming of the books is stunning. So yeah, it must be so like scary to let a stranger like to trust somebody to do their job properly, because you only know what you can, only know what you know. And if you're that like deep into a story, it's really easy to miss obvious stuff because you're like in it. So yeah, complicated.
It's not fun. My hope is that I can see if any of my readers want to do a beta read for me.
Oh, cool.
Because obviously I feel like they know my story better. See if they want to get into it, because I feel like they would pick up those connections a bit better.
Yeah.
But I think things will be okay. Just because I have my whole series planned out. And I will give a quick shout out to my cover designer, who is Triff Book Design. They're amazing. If anybody needs a cover designer, I really think that they're fantastic. So I actually have the next 2 covers as well, and they're just gorgeous.
That's wonderful.
So I have like the colors keep on changing, which I love. And then the moon gets bigger. You can kind of see it in the ones there, but the moon gets bigger. And then I'm gonna do some fancy things with the moon, because I think book 4, it's about a 3/4 moon. Next one, it'll be a full moon, and then it's like, what do you do after a full moon? So we'll see how they take my inspiration for those ones.
That's very cool.
I really love what they did with it. Love the colors, and they're very receptive to work with. Like I email them, say, hey, I'm like not quite so happy with this, and they'll change it, no questions asked. So.
Fantastic. Oh, that's so cool. And I'm so glad that you've been able to keep them throughout the whole series, because they all just work so well together.
Yes.
How many books have you got planned?
7. Whoops. That was also something that happened.
That is whoops.
When I was writing, I think it was during the very first draft, my mind just went off on a tangent, thinking about the Lunar Order, which is the series name. And I was like, oh, what about this? What about this? And then I was like, I was originally going to name one of them like When Gods Fall, which is a bit telling about what's going to happen. It's not called that anymore, but it pretty much, when I tell people, I'm like, yeah, it starts out, it's pretty small. It's just like a witch trying to figure out her magic. And then it ends in war. So you've got to ramp up to these things.
Yeah, no kidding. Got to ease into it, otherwise it's stressful to read. So you have 7 books planned. Have you outlined them all?
Yeah, well, yes, but not like detailed. It's just a basic plot overview. That was one of the things I did with the world building book coach, is we planned out book 2, and then we planned out the whole series.
Oh, wow.
And that was so helpful, because I know I'm like, okay, in book 5 we're going to be tackling this bad guy, this is the
Mhm.
basic thing that happens, and this is what my character needs to learn in that particular book. Because
Mm.
I'm very much about character arc, character development. We
Mhm.
planned out her character arc over the whole series.
Wow.
So I feel like that's helped me to make things flow,
Mhm.
rather than the character just being like, oh, I've come into my power in book one and now I'm just fantastic. So it's like learning these things, having setbacks,
Mhm.
old enemies come up on a regular basis. They kind of
Mhm.
switch between the books. But I knew where I was heading so that I can set up seeds. Like in book one, I mention a villain, which people probably won't realize is just a passing comment, who will only come up in book 5.
Oh, wow.
So it's little things like that. I can plant these seeds and just be very, very small thing, just a mention of a name. No one
Mhm.
thinks about it until you get to there and you're like, oh, we knew this from the start.
That's fabulous. Oh, that must be so much fun for your readers as well to find all those little Easter eggs and
Yeah.
those little clues that you're leaving behind.
Yes.
So speaking of readers, I noticed
Mhm.
that you've done book events in the past, and I'm assuming you plan to do some in the future. You've got a newsletter, you've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
What's it like having contact with your readers like that?
It's a lot of fun because as you probably know, writing is very lonely. You're
Mhm.
just like, it's just me and my computer. Occasionally I have an editor.
Mhm.
Um, and even with like ARC readers, you don't really have that contact with them.
Mhm.
And so it's when you can have events, when you can have a newsletter and like, oh, people are actually replying to me. Like people are actually reading my stuff. Like I love this. I actually had a really sweet interaction. So I live in I would call it a small town in
Mhm.
central Washington. I think maybe like 100,000 people.
Mhm.
And when I had book 3 going out, I was sending out emails to find new ARC readers. And then one of them replied and was like, oh, like this is fantastic. I've actually already read book 1 and 2. And I thought I'd already sent this to her and I was emailing her again. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, no. I bought them from the Yakima Book Co., which is my local bookshop. And I'm like, oh, you live in town. And then so I went into there and I was talking to Anne, the owner, and she's like, oh yeah, that's Brit. She's like fantastic. And then I met her last weekend at an event. And she was
Oh.
just like the sweetest. She's like, I'm like, oh, you're Brit. I know you. We've talked about you. And then at the end, she came up and she's like, I just wanted to say, like, I just really love your books. Like, I love witches. I love all this. Like, thank you for writing them. Like, I just want to tell you like how much I enjoy them. And it was just so fantastic to have that it wasn't just a book someone's read. It was a book someone like really loved. They loved what I was doing.
Mhm.
And it's just like that little bit of inspiration to keep you going.
How did you not burst into tears? I think I'd become a fucking mess. I'd just be like, oh my god. That's so nice. That's so lovely.
Yeah, so sweet. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying any of your books because I already own them. So I'm like, here, have stickers. I don't care.
Oh, that's so cute. That is really lovely. I'm so glad that you had that. It's not in the day of us being so tied to social media, which is, in my opinion, not a particularly social place. Having those in-person interactions and connections with people are so important. And it's not something that everybody gets an opportunity to do. Like not everybody can attend an event as a writer and not everybody can meet authors of books that they really connect with. So it's something that's really, really meaningful and it's very cool that you're able to do that.
Yes, it's just nice to have that conversation. And it's also funny because it's like I know how it feels being on the other side because
Mhm.
I was at Worldcon in Seattle last year
Mhm.
and got my book signed by Martha Wells. And I was just like, oh, I love this. I love this. And I'm like, she didn't say anything. And I'm like, she has like 100, 200 people behind me. Like, I
Mhm.
understand, but I was just like so excited to finally meet her. So
That might be you one day.
fingers crossed.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fab. So what's your, other than like interaction with I need to say customers, with readers, are there any other things that you like to achieve like at events? Like do you aim to get people signed up to your newsletter? Do you like to get people like or connect with other writers? What are some of your goals for in-person events?
I don't really push my newsletter because I find that I mean, I haven't done many events, so it's not really that big. But I
Mhm.
find that those readers aren't as much like online for newsletters.
Mhm.
They more like these in-person events. They like going to bookstores and having things like that. So my thing is really just like making a connection, talking about what I write, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't care if they don't buy anything because I know that like buying books isn't cheap.
Mhm.
So like that's why I always try and have something. Like I have a little bookmark of a series that I hope to have coming out next year.
Mhm.
Like, here, take this. Like it has a link to the first chapter of that, or I
Mhm.
give them my card which talks about the Lunar Order Chronicles.
Mhm.
And it's just something to keep them in mind. So it's like maybe they only read ebooks and they just kind of want to look around, or maybe they'll think about me when they go to their local indie bookstore, and hopefully I will be there.
Aw.
But I just loved being able to talk to people, to have a conversation. I'm like not here to. I hate selling things. I
Mhm.
worked in retail for too long. I'm like, I just want to talk to you. I don't want you to just buy my book because you're buying books. I want you to connect with what's going on in my stories, and
Mm.
then if you want to buy it. So
Nice. So, in terms of getting into indie bookstores, is that something that you do like business to business? Do you contact them individually? Do you do like a wide distribution thing?
yeah, so I do like have things set up with Ingram.
Mhm.
And like was on Drafted Digital to try and get to libraries, but again it's kind of that throwing a pebble into this massive ocean. It's going to
Mhm.
be hard just for them to find me. So for all of the bookstores that I'm in, I have contacted them.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's just me reaching out like to the local one, to the ones over like Seattle side.
Mhm.
I reached out to them. Um, Other times I look like on Threads, I think is fantastic.
Mhm.
So I'll look for like, hey, we're looking for indies. I'll look through, see if their terms fit with align with what I want to do.
Mhm.
But it is hard because a lot of them are obviously consignment.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of money out of pocket if you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm sending these to you, I'm paying for the shipping, and I'm hoping they're going to sell.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, I'm not constantly trying to get my books everywhere. I'll obviously rather wholesale because it's less stress off me.
Mhm.
But I love being in indie bookstores. I would much rather be in indie bookstores than people going on to Amazon to buy my book,
Yes, I would
because we
also
don't like
prefer
them.
that.
Even though I'm in Kindle Unlimited, so don't tell them that. I need the money from Kindle Unlimited.
Okay, it's all right. The thing is that they have a monopoly on this thing,
Yeah.
and if that's where a majority or like a large portion of your reads come from, then you've got to go where you've got to go. Especially in this world of like, self-publishing being so accessible, you
Yeah.
have to go with the most accessible thing. And like, largely, people are not in this thing to make a lot of money because that's just not realistic. Because I mean, if you think about all the people that you know on social media, just as an example, like if you had to buy everybody who you likes books, you wouldn't have any fucking money left. There's so many books. There are
Yeah.
so many books, and it's like, how do I pick the ones that I like? And we're all sort of helping each other out and things like that. But it's not easy to find readers on there.
Yeah.
I swear I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, so I mean, we can see just from that there is this huge saturation of uh books being available, and I mean there are over 1 million authors on Amazon Publishing. No,
Yeah.
Kindle Direct Publishing. How are you supposed to pick what book to read? It's virtually impossible. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a minefield, to be honest.
It is.
Mm, yeah. Anyway, but so you are self-published, is that correct?
Correct. I don't
So
want people telling me what to do.
is that why you chose that? I love that so much.
Going trad seemed exhausting. So
Mm.
I'm also a book coach and developmental editor, and with
Oh,
who
cool.
I went with Author Accelerator, and they train you pretty much on everything.
Mm.
And so you can obviously pick down into your niche and where you want to be.
Mhm.
And so to get my certification with them, you had to do certain things. And the last one was to take a author and help them create a query letter and to pick out agents to pitch to and like do all that. I was doing that for my author, and I'm like, this is exhausting. Like, who wants to do this? Not to mention, it's like you send them off, you might not hear anything, and you've just got to be like, I don't know for how many months, and then try again. I'm like, no, that's no.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for people that have the patience to do that, because I get that that's a goal for some people, and for a handful of writers that might give them their livelihood and allow them to be able to earn enough money to like do it full time, and that's really, really cool. But like I don't like the odds. I don't like those odds. If I was a gambling man, I wouldn't take that chance. I would not. It would be something that I would be able to put myself through, I don't think. No, I'm fine. So this experience of self-publishing, I imagine like the first book was a bit of a like really stressful endeavor, because it usually is, because you have to learn like a ton of stuff. Has it been easier the more books that you've released, or is it still just as stressful?
It's definitely easier in some ways. Just because it's like you said, like I always try and tell new writers that it's like, you're not just writing your first story, you are learning so much about everything, the whole process, with story structure, with sentence structure, with POVs, and all of this, down to like how you should be formatting, how you should be breaking down your sentences, grammar. It's that part's exhausting. It's like, this is why it takes so long, because you're learning a bazillion things at once.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then I got to book 2. I was still kind of learning, but I understood myself a lot better. That I need structure. I need a good outline so that I don't go off track, because that happens easily. And then book 3, I think that was one of the easiest ones to write. That story just flowed. Book 4, I've been having some issues with. But because you're not having to think of all of these extra things in the back of your mind, it makes things work a lot better. I'm still at the point where I'm like, whatever task I'm doing, like if I'm in the writing stage, I want to be editing. If I'm editing, I want to be writing. It's always like, whichever one I'm not doing is where I want to be. So
it sounds like you're definitely doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, for sure. Like I can always tell when people actually find joy in doing things like this, and who is like, I have to write because the voice is in my head, but I fucking hate it. Like it really makes a big difference when you can see how much somebody just truly loves the whole process. Because although you've said like some elements are stressful, you still got a smile on your face and you still talk about it fondly. Like
I still enjoy, obviously, the end product. I love continuing on, and I am the same thing. I have so many stories in my head that I just want to write. I'm like, I can't wait to get that out. The hard part is being realistic and realizing how long everything actually takes. I want to write this and have it out in a month, but that's never going to happen, because the whole process takes, for me, a year, and even then sometimes it's pushing it. So.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're going to run out of things to write anytime soon, which is probably a good thing. Like, do you have writer's block, or are you just like on it all the time?
I have gotten a lot better. I think because of how I practiced teaching myself like to do like writing sprints. So that I was like, okay, I've got my mindset. I'll sit down. I'm going to write for 30 minutes, I think it started at. And now it's a lot easier. I know that I have to write in the morning, because that's when I have that creative energy. It's like after 3 o'clock, it's gone. My brain's just mush. It's like, so I know that I need to do these things. I also started dictating, which is so much faster, and now I get frustrated because like if I'm typing, I'm like, I've already done that sentence. I want to get on to the next one, but I'm still, my stupid fingers are too slow.
Interesting. I'm back. Oh, what
happened? You're back too.
Don't know. I think we did a little poo. So yeah, your brain is a lot faster than your fingers.
Yes. And so now it's like I can easily get 1,000 words done in like half an hour. Because I'm like, I know where I'm going. I'm good at pantsing scenes as long as I know the general idea of what needs to happen. So it's like that bit is definitely easy for me.
So when you're constructing your story and your chapters, do you set like a word count for each chapter, or like when the point is made, the point is made?
I now aim. So when I was writing my first book, I try to write shorter. I used to aim for over 1.5K, which I now realize is too short. So now I try to get over 2,000 to 2.5 to 3.5 is usually my aim. And now, because I understand so much more, I find that's a lot easier to write. In my first book, I was writing very short. I wasn't giving enough description, enough dialogue, enough interaction.
Yeah.
And so now I understand that more. And now it's like, oh yeah, that's easy to do. Or if it's too short, I'm like, okay, what am I missing in the scene? Oh, obviously enough's not happening. I'm not hitting all these turning points in the chapter that I need to.
That's interesting. I wonder if it's the genre that you're writing in, because I'm reading a thriller at the moment, and I've never read a thriller with such short chapters before. But like the scene is 3 chapters, and it's really weird. Like, it's not bad, because it, like, in my head when I'm reading in bed, I go, I'm just going to finish this chapter, and it's really easy because the chapter's like 4 pages long. But it's like 100 chapters or something ridiculous in this book. It's very weird. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, 4 pages seems very short. I'm trying to remember. I know I have some shorter ones in my first book, but I'm like, I wonder how many words that actually is.
Probably like 500 or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit, and I know that chapter was 1,000 words because I just recently combined it with the next one. So, because I'm like, that 1,000 words is too short.
Yeah,
it's not enough can happen in that.
Yeah.
So,
I think if it's like a segue chapter, I don't know if that's the correct term, and it's probably not, but like, you know, when there's like a little tiny background thing going on, but you can't really place it anywhere else, like that makes sense. But yeah, I just thought it was just such a peculiar choice. And this person has written like a ton of books. And now I'm thinking, do you do that in all your books? I don't know. So I've got to have a little rummage and see if that's just their style, because it might be a stylistic choice.
I'm wondering if it's to like just keep the reader's attention. We're like, rather than having the whole thing, we're like, I'm going to cut it here because they're going to be like, oh, what happens next? And so it's just to make it feel more fast paced, which is what I try to do in this book, in my first book. And I was like, that isn't quite right. So
we've got to find what works for you at the end of the day, because everybody's going to tell a story differently. And also like genres will absolutely dictate it, because if you're going for something that is more fantasy based, you have to give the reader so much more information than situations that they're going to be familiar with. Like driving down the road, you're not going to need like a whole chapter just describing that thing. But if your character's learning a new skill or traversing like an unknown terrain, you're going to want to give that reader the immersive experience that you'd want to read yourself, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you read just fantasy, romantasy stuff, or do you read outside of those genres?
Currently, I usually tell people it's 95% fantasy, and then the other 5% is Murderbot.
Is what? Sorry?
Murderbot Diaries. Don't tell me you don't know them. Did you not know them?
No.
Who are you? Did you?
I'm Saffron. I don't know what that is.
So this is Martha Wells, who I met. So she wrote the Murderbot Diaries. They just got Apple TV, just made it into a series, which I didn't watch because I couldn't stand it. But from that it became super popular. But it is fantastic. Like I do like fantasy. I mean, sorry, I do like sci-fi, but I find that sometimes it can get too technical. But Murderbot does a very good job. They're very short. They're like novellas. But it has become, I listened to an audiobook. It's become my cozy read, which is hilarious because it's called Murderbot, and he calls himself Murderbot. Oh, sorry. It calls itself Murderbot. And it's just a fun story. And the narrator for it is just fantastic. He does such a good job on it. But yeah, you should definitely pick up All Systems Red and listen to it because it's really good.
I'm imagining that is Alexander Skarsgård in the series?
Yeah, he plays Murderbot.
Okay.
I don't know. I've like listened to All System Red probably like 12 times. And I probably listen to like 5 times a year because it's just it's so easy to listen to. I don't have to pay attention. But my sister tried to get me watch it because she had Apple TV. And I just didn't like it. And then like I heard that they changed things. They got rid of like one of the characters, and then so these two characters were together. They added this new one. I'm just like, And I didn't like the guy who was playing Garothan because I had a different picture in my head. And they made them more hippies. And so I was just like, I think I just might listen to the audiobooks. So
that's fine. You like what you like. You can't help that. That's okay. No, I'll have to check it out because I had never heard of it before. I might look at it and go, oh yeah, that, but it's not something that comes to mind. Is it like a murder mystery or thriller?
No.
Or what kind of
action?
Action. Oh, okay,
action.
Cool. I could enjoy a bit of
all
action.
about action. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have a lot of action in your work?
Yes. That's all like that is what I write is action. I'm like, I need danger, I need things happen, I need magic. The funny thing was when I first started to write my first book, when it was the original, I thought I was writing a cozy book because I'm like, oh, it's this witch, her magic doesn't work well, she's going to go work in this like sentient coffee shop and make magical cookies. And then like I kept on writing because I had no idea where I was going, just pantsing it. And then there was like demons that were coming out and stalking her, and then there was kidnapping, and I'm like, this isn't cozy anymore. And I realized I can't do cozy. I can read cozy, I cannot write cozy. I need all of these things. So
that's fantastic. I'm so pleased to hear that. I get why people like cozy stuff, but I can't enjoy it.
Some of it works, some of it just misses the point, and it's just things happening. So
yeah, cool, excellent. You're like a bit of a dark horse because you're super nice, but you're like, yeah, demons and stuff, and I'm like, no.
What's funny is that Nissa's story is very, it's not like light, but it's light to what I usually write. So the epic fantasy that I was telling you about that I've been trying to write, I was like, this character goes through a lot in her life in general. And I was like, oh, I'm being kind of harsh. I killed her first love. Her elder brother was poisoned because of her and ends up dying. Her twin ends up dying. She ends up being betrayed by the army that she dedicated her life to. Then she gets captured by this guy and is enslaved by them. Then she has all this trauma. I'm like, I'm terrible. So usually my things are a bit darker. They go through some shit, but this is a lot lighter. I try to keep it more hopeful. There's some dark things, like book 2 deals with PTSD from what happened in book 1, because if you go through these terrible events, like you're going to have some PTSD. And so there's some minor things in book 2 that I try to brush over briefly, like torture and murder and child harm, but it's
the classics.
I don't go deep into that, but it's like that has happened. So it goes a bit dark, but then it comes out a bit lighter again, except when we get to war. So
yeah, but that's a bit of a dark subject anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Not particularly fun for the most part. Not a fan. So I have a question.
Yes.
I saw on your website that you had a dog called Luna. Is your dog named after your book series?
Yes. What was hilarious? So she was actually a stray that one of my husband's co-worker found, and knew that he used to have a chocolate lab and knew that he probably wanted a dog. So like, hey, do you want this puppy we found? And then we're trying to figure out a name. She's a black lab. And then I was just like, I really want to call her Luna, but I don't know. Like, I'm not going to tell my husband that that's the reason why. And so we ended up, I was like, oh, what about Luna? And he's like, yeah, I was thinking that too. It's kind of, turns out it's a common name. And then later on I was like, it's because of my book series. I really wanted to call it Luna. So
do you ever use your dog for a marketing tool? Because
no,
you probably should. You should.
Well, this series has my character has a fox familiar. So I try and use foxes a lot to get people, because and she has become the MVP. There's another author who read my books, and he was like, I did a post. It was like, main character. I was talking about Nissa, and he was like, the real main character is Danica. So he just loves the fox, and I'm like, yeah, she will be in there. She is my favorite.
Aw.
She is the pillar of this series. So,
oh, that's really cute. Love that. This time has gone by so quickly. That's crazy. I want to be able to ask you my sort of final questions before I forget. So, as a writer, what does success look like to you?
I mean, there's a couple of different levels of success that I obviously want to achieve. My first hurdle, I would say, for anyone of being successful is actually getting your book published, getting it out there in the world, having it all complete. That's kind of the first step, because it's like, you have done this. Like, it's such a huge hurdle to get over. And for me, I think the next step that what I would consider success is being able to support myself just from my books, which I know will probably take a while to do. But being in the black would be really nice, because it does cost a lot to produce these books. And then obviously my next step after that would be that people would know my books. Obviously only in the book community. I never expected to get beyond that. But there's like, I could be going to a book event because they want me there because of the books I write, that people are like, oh, I want S.F. Henne to be there, kind of thing, that I could travel more to do that. I have no idea what it'd be after. I mean, crazy goals would be like, I don't know, maybe they'd do like a TV series of it or something like that. That's way down the end. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But then I'd probably get annoyed because they'd do things wrong. So
that's why you have it written into the contract. That's what I would do. I've already thought about this. If my book ever becomes a success and gets a movie deal or whatever, like, I'm going to be in the writer's room making sure they don't screw it up, because I would be furious. Although if they paid me enough, I'd probably be less furious. I suppose it would depend, wouldn't it? I think
it would be nice. They'd be nice to be there. Like, I think it was with oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. Shadows and Bones series, when they made it on Netflix, that Lee Bardugo was part of it. Like, I know she went on set sometimes. So to be connected with that, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it was just like, you guys have creative control, but I can come in and be like, or like talk to the actors like, hey, like, this is what this character is going through, so they could have that. That would be a lot of fun.
That'd be a ton of fun. Well, I hope that happens for you. That would be very cool.
Like 40 years.
Hey, if it happens, it happens. Doesn't matter when, as long as it does. So my final question for you today is, if you could go back to when you first started writing. So I'm going to say 2005. When you first thought about writing,
right?
You could go back and give yourself any advice. What advice would you give?
The advice that everyone hates to hear. You actually have to write down the words if you want your book to be published. Because for the most chunk of that time, I really didn't. I was just like writing what would kind of happen, but not actually writing the story, if that makes sense. Like, oh, they're going to go to here and this is going to happen. But yeah, it's like, you have to do that. That is one of the biggest hurdles to get over, is to actually sit down and start writing, and then learning to let yourself go, not be a perfectionist. So it kind of all builds up. But yeah. It's the advice none of us want to hear.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah.
Just got to get the thing done, haven't you? It's so annoying because it's true, and it's like, I don't want to hear that the hard thing actually works. Truthfully, because my personality type is quite lazy. But yeah, no, actually, it works to knuckle down and actually get the thing done. I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate as I said, your patience waiting like 1,000 months for this show. It's been so lovely to get to know you. If anybody is interested in checking out S.F. Henne's work, there is a QR code there if you can see it. There's also a link below. In fact, there are several links below, and there is a link that includes a free chapter of one of your books. Which book is it?
That is the next series.
Oh.
So that's one I'm working on. That will be a rapid release series, so I'm not 100% sure when it'll be coming out.
Mhm.
But this one, it's set in the same world as the Lunar Auto Chronicles,
Mhm.
but it's a little bit darker.
Okay.
So this is where I start to get into the actual things I want to be writing.
Mhm.
My main character, Ivy, is an enslaved assassin.
Mhm.
So if you've ever like watched, I might be dating myself a bit, like Alias or Nikita, the
Mhm.
TV series, kind of like that, but fantasy and in a city ruled by dragons.
Amazing.
And she has a vendetta against dragons, but it's a little bit more of a romantic urban fantasy. So
With the
guess who the
dragons?
love interest is?
She's not fat. She doesn't get on with the dragons, does she? Does she?
They're dragon shifters.
Okay, that's
So
fine then.
yeah, they don't
Logistically, I
date
was trying to figure
dragons.
out how that was going to work. If I'm being honest, that was the first thing that I
I've
went
already
through.
I've already thought about that, so don't worry. That might come up later on.
Okay, cool. I was worried, but now I'm not. So anyway, if you wanted to get the first chapter for free, it's down below in the link. I think it's the final link in the description of the episode. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. And if you joined us live, I appreciate you. Apart from the weird bots that were on Twitch, if you saw me get distracted, it's because I saw these bots and I was like, get away from me. Because it freaked me out. I didn't like it. I don't want to know about AI viewers. What the fuck? Anyway, I need to get off my high horse and shut this thing down. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.